I know it may feel blasphemous to speak ill against Toy Story, but stick with me. Even though it's this massive, beloved Disney Pixar classic, I honestly think Disney have all but sabotaged this franchise, and it was one decision they made, just one, that sealed the fate and damaged this beloved story beyond repair. And it's not plot holes or errors or new toys or anything like that. What I am about to say may shock you, but for me the biggest issue with Toy Story is Bonnie. Yes, Bonnie. Let's walk through why this single character was what led to the destruction of Toy Story. The magic of Toy Story was always loyalty. The first film, Woody and the gang swore they'd stick by Andy no matter what, rain or fire. The film was about the importance of child and toy. It was about the connection these toys had when being played with by a child, and entering this imagination the child would create at playtime. So much so, the core message was that Buzz, believing he was a space ranger, then discovering he wasn't, was less important than what Andy could create in his bedroom with his other toys. Toy Story 2 continued this message, showing Jessie losing Emily. The whole sequence with the song When Somebody Loved Me was a reminder to adult viewers that the toys they left behind as they grew up and forgot were a huge part of their lives. But the toys in this story were alive and had feelings, making the impact of losing their owners all the more powerful and making the adults feel guilty for giving up toys all them years ago. Jessie's story in 2 shows that the moment she landed with Andy, a child who would play with her, her life became complete again. But what I loved was the looming shadow of Andy growing up that hung over Toy Story 2 like a foreshadowed cloud. The movie even ends with Buzz asking Woody if he's worried, to which Woody says, "It'll be fun while it lasts." Then heading into Toy Story 3, Andy has grown up, and the biggest message is letting go here. The movie sets up the end of Andy's journey with the toys, but introduces Bonnie, a new kid who reminds Woody what he'd been missing whilst pining for Andy. Playtime. Once again, it leans into that connection between child and toy. Now, Toy Story 3 was very traumatic, and there was a lot going on in that movie, but away from Lotso and Sunnyside and all that, the message of child and toy was still so relevant, emphasising the importance of growing up and letting go of your past, but also passing on things that made you happy in your childhood. And the way that Andy gave Bonnie, the toys and Woody was massively symbolic. It was as though he was giving away and letting go of his childhood, something we all must do when we grow up. And here's where it all falls apart. Fast forward to 4. They could have leaned into Bonnie as a fresh Andy, replaying that sweet loop, a new kid, new loyalty, toys alive again. Instead, she morphs into a soft antagonist. She's shoving Woody in a closet like yesterday's trash, taking away the weight of Toy Story 3's ending in an instant. What was originally a letting go ending now feels more like, hey, maybe Woody should have just tagged along with Andy, seeing as Bonnie doesn't really want him. The one decision to make Bonnie reject Woody had such an impact on the original trilogy that it absolutely baffles me why this wasn't addressed before the movie went into production. We go through such a journey, especially in Toy Story 3, with Woody saying goodbye to Andy, that we want what's best for him. But instead, he lands with Bonnie, who we're supposed to see as a cutesy kid, but instead she rejects him entirely, making it hard for us to feel sympathy for her as well in Toy Story 4. And honestly, seeing Woody grateful of a hug from Bonnie is one of the worst things I have ever seen from a Pixar and Disney movie. It's just awful. If they wanted to reintroduce Bo Peep on that subject, they could have followed a similar message to Jessie, making her rejected by Molly and rejected multiple times, by different kids, to being accepted by Bonnie and enjoying playtime all over again. But instead they ended Toy Story 4 with a "it's better being alone than with a kid" message. It makes playtime and being loyal an option, something the original movies promoted heavily. Yet it's all but forgotten here. I feel like Pixar misunderstood what made Toy Story special. Sure, it's Buzz acting dumb, or wisecracking potato heads, or Woody being on some adventure, but the core of that was the relationship between child and toy. So as we hit 2026, Toy Story 5 will be hitting theatres, and I am honestly terrified. If 4 undid the baton, what damage could 5 do to this franchise? I mean, I'm excited, but cautiously optimistic. Part of me, to this day, questions whether Toy Story was better existing as a trilogy, as opposed to the mega franchise they're building it into. And that's honestly how I feel. After all, what are they going to undo next that made the originals so great? And that's one of the biggest worries I have with Toy Story 5. Okay, that's my rant about Toy Story, so I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive. If you have, hit subscribe and like the video to let me know if you want to see more content like this, and I will see you in the next one.